At the beginning of the movie, we are introduced to a town called Clover Falls, a place notorious for frequent murders. It was widely known for slasher movies, as many killings took place there, inspiring numerous films. In this town, there was a video rental shop owned by a girl named Abby. When Abby enters her shop, she realizes that her business is about to shut down because people are no longer buying DVDs, and interest in slasher movies is fading. Inside the shop, she meets Mackenzie, her sales assistant. He informs her that her father is working on some new ideas and suggests she meet him. When Abby visits her father, Roger, she finds him watching a slasher movie. From his expression, it's clear that he is a slasher legend, the very masked killer responsible for the town's murders. Both Abby and Mackenzie are aware of this. Roger explains that their business is failing, so they need to start killing people again. Since teenagers are the main audience for horror movies, they decide to target them. However, Roger admits he is getting old and can't kill as many people as before, so he's working on a new plan where Mackenzie will wear the mask and carry out the murders. Abby, feeling left out, asks why she can't do it instead. Roger dismisses her, saying she's too young and not ready. Upset, Abby storms out and visits Glenn, a tailor who used to make her father's murder costumes. She asks him to design a new mask for her in the shape of a wolf. Initially, Glenn refuses, saying her father has forbidden him from helping her. But Abby convinces him by promising him screen time in the killings, which excites him. Later that night, Abby argues with her father for choosing Mackenzie over her. At the dining table, we see the skeletal remains of her grandmother, indicating how psychotic the family is. Roger warns Abby not to be disrespectful in front of her grandmother, leading her to apologize to the skeleton. Roger tells Abby that she lacks the necessary instincts and, as a girl, she wouldn't be fast enough at killing. He then prepares his weapon and mask to hunt down his first targets, Mitch and Sharon, a couple camping in the woods. Roger follows them and makes noise near their car. When Mitch goes to check, Roger ambushes him from the trunk and kills him. After waiting for a long time, Sharon grows worried and goes to look for him, only to find his dead body. Before she can react, Roger slashes her throat, killing her. Meanwhile, Abby, who had come along to watch, enjoys the spectacle and starts craving her first kill. However, things take a turn when Roger suddenly suffers a heart attack. Acting quickly, Abby puts him in the car and drives him to a graveyard, where she buries him. Before leaving, she promises to continue his legacy. She also believes he isn't truly dead because, like every slasher legend, he always comes back. Right then, Roger's hand emerges from the grave. He's alive again. When they arrive home, her father tells her that he feels too old because he couldn't get out of the grave. But Abby tells him not to put himself down. He then says that he has to stop doing the work himself and has planned for someone else to kill a student the next day. However, instead of him, Mackenzie will do it this time, and Abby will be his sidekick. That night, Mackenzie and Abby reach the house of their next victims. Mackenzie puts on the mask and tells Abby to wait outside while he finishes the job. As he enters, he starts feeling confused. Just then, his male victim comes out of the shower and sees him, while the girl screams in terror. Mackenzie locks the door and moves to attack the girl, but her boyfriend suddenly opens the door, pushing Mackenzie backward. He falls onto a sharp trophy, which pierces through his head, killing him instantly. With Mackenzie dead, the victims are still alive, but according to Abby, that shouldn't be the case. She quickly puts on the wolf mask and cuts the phone lines so they can't call for help. As they try to escape, Abby catches up to them and strikes the girl on the head with an axe, killing her. The boy, terrified, tries to run, but Abby kills him too. These were her first victims, and she enjoyed the thrill. She decides to take over her father's work and pick the next target herself. She opens a file and finds the name, Sam. She sneaks into Sam's house and sees that she is a drummer. As she turns off the music, Sam attacks her from behind, stabbing a broken wooden stick into her shoulder. Abby screams in pain, and Sam runs to call the police. But when she turns around, Abby has disappeared. Wounded, Abby rushes to a tailor's shop, where Glenn helps her and takes her home. When she wakes up, she finds her wounds treated and a note from her father. He tells her that she is still inexperienced but will learn over time, so he is giving her his axe. Receiving her father's weapon makes her happy. She now fully understands that he wants her to continue the killings. She starts planning her next murders, targeting Sam, Izzy, Patty, and Billy, the last remaining members of the group. Later, Glenn visits her shop and offers to help, but she refuses, wanting to do it alone. To get closer to her targets, she enrolls in their school, observing their daily routines to strike at the right moment. One day, in the changing room, she meets Sam, who forces her to smoke. Just then, a teacher catches them and takes them to the principal's office. But Sam makes up an excuse, and they escape, enjoying the thrill. Later, they go to a restaurant, where Sam tells Abby about her late girlfriend, who died in town. When she shows Abby old photos, she realizes that her father was behind those murders last year. That night, when Abby gets home, her father asks where she was, but she hides the truth about school. She tells him that she is going out to kill someone that night. He senses that she is keeping secrets. Abby then goes to Sam's house and watches her play the drums. It becomes clear that Abby has started developing feelings for her. The next morning, at school, she meets Patty, and soon, Sam and her friends invite them to a party. In class, Patty and Izzy talk to her, and she starts liking them too. When Abby returns to her shop, her father warns her that emotions will weaken her, making her unable to kill. If she lets feelings get in the way, their legacy will end. Determined to prove him wrong, Abby chooses Izzy as her next victim. That night, she sneaks into Izzy's house wearing her mask. Izzy panics upon seeing her, but instead of killing her with an axe, Abby pushes her out of the window, making it look like an accident. Later, Abby visits Sam, who invites her out. They go to a baseball field, where they talk and bond. Their connection grows stronger, leading to their first kiss. That night, when Abby returns home, her father warns her again, but she ignores him and continues going to school. The next day, in class, Glenn shows up, and Patty curiously asks who he is to Abby. Without answering, Abby follows Glenn outside. He tells her that her father has come to pick her up. When she steps outside, her father is waiting in the car. He takes her to a hospital and reveals something shocking: Izzy didn't die. She survived. Seeing this, Abby is shocked and tells her father that she saw her die. But her father says she is too weak for this job and cannot leave it unfinished, she must complete it. This makes Abby realize she is straying from the path her father set for her. That night, she sneaks into Izzy's house to kill her, but seeing her terrified, Abby feels pity and spares her. She then leaves and later goes to Sam's house to hang out. However, Sam receives a call saying that Izzy has been killed. Shocked, Abby immediately realizes it must be her father's doing. He never leaves a job unfinished. Abby rushes to Izzy's house and finds her lifeless body. Glenn arrives to ask how the job was done, but Abby tells him it wasn't her, it was her father. An idea then strikes Abby. She wants to carry on her father's legacy. She instructs Glenn to call Sam. When Sam picks up, he hears a chilling voice saying, "Your friend is dead, and now I'm coming for you. I'll kill all your friends one by one." Terrified, Sam informs his friends. Abby suggests they escape to a farmhouse she owns outside town, where they'll be safe. Everyone agrees and packs up. They drive off in a van, but midway, the van breaks down, forcing them to stop at a gas station. Afterward, they continue on foot, eventually reaching a dense forest where they find creepy dolls hanging from trees. Abby has been here before, but the others are horrified. Suddenly, an old man appears. It's Glenn in disguise. He warns them that this forest is dangerous because it was home to a legend, a spirit still lurking in the woods. If they value their lives, they should leave immediately. Patty recognizes him and asks where they've met before, making Abby nervous. To prevent Patty from remembering, Abby knocks Glenn unconscious and ties him up in a cabin. Inside, they find old newspapers filled with articles about brutal murders. They light a fire and decide to share horror stories. That's when Abby tells them about the cabin's dark history. Years ago, a young boy named Roger died here while camping with his friends. But after his death, he mysteriously came back to life and took revenge, killing those who had wronged him. Since then, he became addicted to murder, and people believe he still roams these woods. As Abby tells the story, Roger is shown hiding in the bushes, listening. Meanwhile, inside the barn, the group finds an abandoned car and decides to use it to escape. Abby leads everyone into the cabin and locks the door, assuring them they're safe. She assigns someone to stand guard and warns them to wake everyone if they hear anything suspicious. To help them stay alert, Sam gives them some pills, claiming they'll keep them awake. But soon, they realize the pills were actually sleeping tablets. As everyone drifts off, Abby and Patty suddenly wake up, only to find that Billy and Sam are missing. Seeing this, they both rush outside and are shocked to find a mutilated cat's corpse. Seizing the opportunity, Abby sneaks over to Glenn and starts freeing him. But before she can finish, Patty arrives and reveals that she already knew they were working together. She had recognized Glenn as the same man who came to meet Abby at school. Patty is about to attack Abby when Sam suddenly appears and shoots an arrow at Patty, killing her instantly. Just then, Roger jumps in through the window and grabs Sam, ready to kill her. But Sam pushes him away, and the three of them make a run for it. They reach the car, and Abby quickly starts the engine, but Roger jumps onto the vehicle. Sam urges Abby to run him over, but she hesitates. Roger then grabs Sam by the throat, choking her. In desperation, Abby calls out, "Dad," begging him to stop. When he doesn't listen, she stabs a dagger into his head, injuring him and forcing him to release Sam. As Abby rushes to help Sam, Sam accuses her of betraying them. She believes Abby was working with her father all along and that this was all part of her plan. Abby tries to explain, but before she can, Roger suddenly gets up and drives a dagger into Sam's stomach, killing both of them. A few days later, we see Abby closing down a store, as CDs are no longer selling. She had even produced a movie based on the same story. As she watches the movie's collection reports, a strong wind suddenly blows through the room. Realizing what's happening, she rushes to her father's grave, only to find his body missing. Shocked, she turns around and sees Sam standing there, having risen from the grave. In that moment, Abby realizes that her father's powers have now transferred into Sam. And with that, the movie comes to an eerie end.